Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. And today we're going to be looking at something kind of different.
Oh,
Yeah. Instead of like a whole bunch of sources or a book or, whatever we usually do,
yeah.
we're just going to be focusing on one single story
Okay.
that someone shared online.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's about this guy named Lucas, and he's in a park, and he witnesses something pretty wild.
Wild how? Like Bigfoot or?
No, no, no. Well, it's hard to explain.
Okay.
It involves a lost child, a mysterious helper, and a sudden disappearance.
Ooh, that's definitely intriguing.
Yeah. And like I said, we're not here to say whether it really happened or not or try to debunk anything.
Right.
We just want to dive into the story itself,
I like it.
explore the experience,
Mm-hmm.
the emotions, what it makes us think about.
Sounds good to me. Let's hear about this mysterious helper.
Okay, so the story starts with Lucas. He's at this park, and it's described as being super quiet,
Okay.
like almost eerily quiet.
Huh.
And then all of a sudden he hears a child crying. Yeah, and it's this little boy who's completely lost and terrified.
Ah, that's
I
heartbreaking.
know, right? And the story really emphasizes, the boy's fear and how alone he feels.
I can only imagine.
It's like the writer wants us to really feel that vulnerability,
Yeah. Yeah.
that primal fear of being lost and helpless.
Right.
So you've got this quiet, unsettling atmosphere and then this terrified child.
It definitely sounds like the story's setting us up for something.
Yeah, and I think you're right, because out of nowhere, this man appears.
Okay.
And it's not like he just walks up normally.
Yeah.
It says he emerges from the shadows of the trees.
Oh, wow.
It's subtle,
Hmm.
but it creates this, otherworldly feeling.
Like he's not really supposed to be there.
Exactly. Like he's not bound by the normal rules.
That's interesting how the writer did that. Just a slight shift in the description.
Yeah.
But it changes everything.
Totally. And then there's the way the man is described.
What's he like?
He's just radiating calmness,
Mm.
and he instantly soothes the child. Like he just knows exactly what the boy needs.
It's interesting that he appears right when he's needed the most.
Right. Almost like he was meant to be there.
Yeah. I mean, this kind of reminds me of those classic archetypes in stories,
Like what?
Like the helpful stranger or the wise old man.
Right, right.
They always show up just when the hero needs them.
But this story doesn't actually label the man as any specific archetype.
Does it say anything about what he looks like?
Not really. It just focuses on his actions and the way he makes Lucas and the boy feel.
So it's up to us to decide who or what he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so intriguing.
I can see that. Makes you really think about it.
Right. Like, is he an angel? Is he a guardian spirit? Or is he just, a really perceptive person?
That's the beauty of it. The
Yeah.
story leaves it open to interpretation.
And then get this. After he helps the boy find his parents, the man just vanishes.
Vanishes.
Poof. Gone. No explanation. No goodbye.
Wow, that's pretty strange.
Right. It's like the story's mirroring how these unexplained things often happen, you know?
Like they come and go without a trace.
Exactly. We're left with this powerful experience, but no real answers.
And that's what drives us crazy, isn't it?
I think so. We want explanations. We want to know how and why.
It's like our brains can't handle the unknown.
Yeah, maybe by always searching for those logical explanations, we miss out on the mystery.
The magic.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought for sure.
The story actually ends with Lucas asking the reader, have you ever experienced something you couldn't explain?
Oh, wow.
Like he's directly asking us to think about our own encounters with the unknown.
Yeah, like he's saying, hey, I'm not the only one, right?
Exactly. And it makes us wonder how many people have had these experiences but just keep them to themselves.
Because they're afraid of being judged or not believed.
Exactly. So by sharing his story,
He's giving others permission to share theirs.
totally.
Yeah.
And it opens up this whole conversation about, the nature of belief,
The limits of our understanding.
all that good stuff.
I'm really liking this deep dive already.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's definitely making me think.
It's amazing what one story can do.
Right. And we're just getting started.
And it makes you think, like, maybe we shouldn't be so quick to dismiss these stories.
Right. Like maybe there's more truth to them than we realize.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
you know what else I noticed?
What's that?
Lucas never seems scared, you know?
Yeah, that's true. He's not like haunted by what he saw or anything.
He's not like a horror story. He's just filled with wonder. Like he's in awe of the whole experience.
And he even goes back to the park hoping to find the man again.
Really?
Wow.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like he wants to understand what happened. wants to connect with that mystery again.
Instead of running away from it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it makes you wonder, you know,
What's that?
what if we all approach the unexplained with that same curiosity?
Instead of fear or skepticism.
Yeah, what if we just allowed ourselves to be open to the possibility of something more?
It's a good question. I mean, maybe we're just conditioned to be afraid of the things we don't understand.
Right. Society tells us, don't talk to strangers. Stay away from the unknown.
But what if the unknown is actually where the magic lies?
That's what this story seems to be suggesting.
And it makes me think about, you know, angels.
Oh, yeah.
They've been a part of storytelling for, like, forever.
Across all cultures and religions.
Why do you think we're so drawn to them?
That's a good question. I think it's because they represent something we all long for.
Like what?
Protection guidance. You mean like a guardian angel?
Yeah, exactly. The idea that even when things are tough, there might be someone watching over us.
Protecting us.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily about, believing in a specific religious doctrine.
It's more about that feeling that we're not alone.
Right, and like even in the face of darkness and uncertainty, there might be some force working for good in the world.
It's a comforting thought for sure.
Yeah, and I think that ambiguity around angels makes them even more fascinating.
How so? Well, we don't have concrete proof that they exist,
Right.
but we have all these stories, personal experiences that hint at their presence.
It allows for faith and belief to flourish, even without, scientific evidence.
Yeah, and this story definitely plays with that ambiguity.
It does.
It never explicitly says that the man in the park is an angel,
Oh, right.
but it also doesn't rule it out.
So we're left to decide for ourselves.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes it so powerful.
It engages with the mystery, but it doesn't try to solve it.
Right, it just invites us to consider the possibilities.
And to explore our own beliefs.
Totally. It also reminds me of those guardian angel stories,
Oh, yeah, where people like narrowly avoid accidents or something.
Exactly, or they have these sudden urges that end up saving their lives.
Like they were guided by some unseen force.
Right. And it's those stories that make you wonder.
Like, what if there really is something more out there?
Exactly. What if we're not just, random beings in a random universe?
What if there's a plan?
Yeah, and what if these stories are like little glimpses into that plan?
It's a lot to think about for sure.
It is. So what do you think? What can we take away from this story?
Well, I think it's about embracing the unknown.
Oh.
It's a reminder that there are mysteries in the world that may never be solved.
And that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay to not have all the answers.
Instead of trying to force everything into neat little boxes.
Exactly. Sometimes the most profound insights come from the not knowing.
From mystery.
From the space for wonder.
I love that. And it's about, being open to the possibility of something greater than ourselves.
Right. Like maybe we're not the center of the universe.
Yeah, exactly. And this story also made me think about, the
What?
power of personal narratives. Like, why did Lucas share this story?
Good point. I mean, he could have just kept it to himself, right?
Yeah, he could have dismissed it as a weird dream or,
Or just a coincidence.
Exactly. But he chose to share it with the world.
And in doing so, he's inviting us to connect with his experience.
To explore our own beliefs and experiences.
And I think that takes a lot of courage,
It does. Especially when you're sharing something that challenges conventional thinking.
Yeah, people might think you're crazy or making it up.
Right. But by putting himself out there, Lucas is creating a space for vulnerability and empathy.
And for shared exploration.
It's like he's saying, hey, this impossible thing happened to me. What do you think?
And that opens up a whole world of possibilities.
It encourages us to question our assumptions.
To be more open to the extraordinary.
I love that. So ultimately, what can we take away from this deep dive?
Well, I think it's about embracing the mystery.
The not knowing.
Exactly. It's not about having all the answers.
It's about being curious.
About being open to the possibility that there's more to life than meets the eye.
And maybe even a little bit of magic.
Yeah, and maybe by opening ourselves to those possibilities.
We invite a little more magic into our own lives.
I like that. Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everybody. We hope this story has sparked your curiosity and made you think about,
all the mysteries out there.
yeah, all the things we still don't understand.
And maybe never will.
But that's okay. It's the mystery that keeps life interesting.
Keeps us searching. Keeps us wondering.
Exactly. So until next time, keep those minds open and stay curious out there.